Hello and praise the Lord. My name is Ken Campbell and I'm here to welcome you to this wonderful show. And this is Being One Show. And we are grateful to God because of this amazing platform and this amazing opportunity that He has given us to be able to come into your homes through PrayerCaveTV. I am so amazed by your feedback. You're talking to us and you're telling us that we are doing well. And I will continue to request you that you continue also to talk to us even through our Facebook page, through our YouTube channel at PrayerCaveTV. Even on TikTok, we are there. Even on Twitter, we are there. Instagram, we are there. You'll find us on all those platforms. Please keep talking to us and keep following us, and you're going to get amazing programs and shows that will be coming to you right here on PrayerCaveTV. And Being One Show is one of those wonderful shows. Last time we had a very wonderful episode where we did a break, I would say, breaking the ground for a series of building marriages series, which will be coming to you right here on PrayerCaveTV. And we talked so much. And there's one thing that really came out in that episode, and it was all about intimacy. And I remember even posing our guests at some point, telling them that if we go that route, then we will not be able to finish the episode. But right here and today, we are going to get deep into that topic of intimacy and sex. And so please don't move an inch. And like I told you last time, if you want to move an inch, it will be you getting a cup of tea or rather some hot water so that we can get along all the way for this 1 whole hour. So don't change the channel, and karibu sana. And today we are going to continue with our guest. I want to say that today we are short of one guest because of some commitment somewhere else, but I know next episode we are going to be with him. Allow me also to welcome back our guest, Nancy Mongai. I know she will say hi, and we are going to get into the business of the day. So karibu sana, Nancy.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. How have you been since we saw each other right here on this channel?
I have been well.
Yes.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I can only say it's by the blessing, by the grace of God.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. I want to tell you that we are getting good feedback from people, that the information and the knowledge that is being poured right here, it is really helping them. And I want to encourage you that you keep doing that.
Okay.
And keep pouring yourself out.
Okay.
So that, we can save a marriage somewhere.
Yes.
All right. So today we are going to get into that topic that most people don't like talking about, but it is very essential, very important in marriages. And because this is a marriage show, we are going to talk about it. We are not going to fear saying some things because we want people get healed in their marriages. And so let's get into the meat itself. And so, what is intimacy in marriage?
Okay. I can start by introducing the topic of today by saying that when you want a wound to heal, and the wound is having infection, what the medics will tell you is that they normally open up the wound, they disinfect it. After disinfecting it, that is when now they spray it with the right medicine. Then after that, that is when they cover it up. They can either stitch it, or they can bandage it.
Yes.
But it's until they open it up and then they remove they wash it off using the cleansing reagents, so that they are able to get rid of the infection. And now from there they spray it, and on top of that now they stitch it. So it's the same even in marriage. If we don't get into the details of this type of topics, then we will just be walking on the surface. We will just be walking on eggshells. We will not be going deep into the issues that are actually ailing marriages.
That's true.
And so that is why this program is here. That is why we are here, so that By the grace of God, because it is all to the glory and honor of God.
Yes, yes.
And God being the author of marriages, so that marriages can thrive.
That's true.
Yes. So,
that's true.
Intimacy is something that is very deep to define. It is those definitions that you look for words and you're not able to feed enough words to describe it. But I'll just, in a nutshell, say that intimacy is is not just in marriage. Intimacy can be in many areas. The Bible tells us about being intimate with God, and that means having a deep relationship with God, a relationship where you wake up and every time of the day you're meditating on the word of God, you're praying silently, or you're dedicating your time for fasting on. That is when your relationship with God can grow deeper.
Yeah.
And so intimacy is not a word that is just affixed to the marriage area. It is a word that has many definitions. It can be of different arenas. It can be used in different arenas. But for today, we'll be dealing with intimacy in the area of marriage.
Yeah.
So intimacy in marriage is where the partners who are married, the spouses who are married, the husband, the wife, allow themselves to release the fear of being left, and they are able to embrace each other to the point where they release their hearts, they release their souls, they are vulnerable to each other, they become dependent on each other, they become close, they become one. You see, when I try to remove something that is knitted together, if I try to tear it, then it means I'll be destroying it.
Yes.
So it's the same even with an intimate marriage, where those couples have become one.
Yeah.
So they become one, they allow themselves to be vulnerable to each other. They allow their emotions to take root. They become emotional, they become best friends. So I'm trying to paint a picture into the viewer of what an intimate marriage can be all about.
Yes.
So those are the best words that I can use. There are deeper words that can be used, but I believe that I've painted in the image of the mind of the viewer what intimacy is all about.
Yes.
And it is different from sex.
It is.
Because intimacy is not something that happens right now and ends in the next moment. It is something that the couple all through their lifetime, when they are together, it is something that is in them. It is what is in them. It is what defines them as a couple. It is how they relate.
True.
It is how they are connected together. It is an emotional connection, a psychological connection. It is just beyond the physical act.
Yes.
But now when you come to sex, sex is the physical act that starts and ends. Yes, sex is psychological, it is spiritual, it is emotional. We have described it before. But the act itself, the excitement of the few minutes begins and ends. But intimacy never ends.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. As we continue, I would want to talk to our viewers. There's a number on the screen and we really want to hear from you. We would really want to hear from you. What do you rather refer to as intimacy in your marriage? What is that you can point out and say, this is the intimacy in our marriage? Or if there is none, something like that, or rather if there is nothing that you can point out that is intimacy, then probably you need to keep listening to our show today to get to know more about intimacy and sex. And we get back to our guest, and I ask you this question because it's important that now we know that intimacy is, of different arenas, and it's also different from sex, and how is intimacy developed in marriages?
Okay. I can say that it is not something that is developed and then, it's not something you develop and then it ends.
And that's it,
It is something that is builded upon. Because like we have said, that it's not the act itself that starts and ends. Intimacy is there along the path of the marriage.
Yes.
So it is first of all developed after the couple come together in marriage now, they become husband and wife.
Yeah.
I would not want to say that it starts before marriage. Because you see, before marriage, there's the courtship, there's the dating. That time is the expression of love.
Okay.
So,
which is not intimacy.
Which is not exactly the full version of intimacy. It is just an expression of love. It is just an expression of feelings. But the true intimacy, the true vulnerable intimacy only starts after marriage.
Okay.
The challenge is that with some of the couples, they start the whole process of marriage before marriage. They go all the way, they start becoming sexual partners even before marriage. And so they introduce something that was not meant to have climaxed before marriage. They introduce it before marriage.
Okay.
And you find that if such a couple breaks up before they marry, then you realize there's emotional wounds that they leave to each other, psychological wounds, because they introduced the full version of marriage, but out of the context of marriage. But the true deep intimacy is experienced by a married couple. And in our context today, we are using a Christian marriage.
Yes.
We are not using every form of marriage. We are using a Christian marriage. So that is when the true deep intimacy begins, from the onset of marriage going on. Yes, it is not something that ends, because it is, like we have said, it is beyond sex.
Yes.
So for the viewer who thinks that intimacy is only when they are having love making with a partner, then I would be able to tell them that it's beyond that. Even when you sit down and watch a comedy with your partner and you laugh together, yes, it creates more bonds of intimacy in your relationship. Even when you're out on a date, many viewers are surprised when I say that, because many viewers after they wed, dating inaisha. But you see, dating is not something that's supposed to end just because you bagged the package. You took the wife home. So dating is hapo. It's something that should be continue in your marriage. True. Because it builds your marriage. True. So even when you go for a date, a coffee date, a tea date, a dinner date with your partner, then you're building more bonds in the intimacy, and it is becoming a stronger bond, and so it makes your marriage thrive.
Because we've heard there is even this thing out there that intimacy is sex. I really want, probably we expound that more, and we bring the difference out of that, because many would say that they were one and the same thing.
Yeah.
Many would say that if I speak of intimacy, then in it, there is sex in it.
Okay.
When I talk about sex, then they mean also intimacy is in it. So how can we differentiate those two?
Okay. Let me use a definition or an explanation that is beyond the context of Christianity, so that I'm able to explain to the viewer exactly the difference between the two.
Yeah.
You see, in the world out there, there are many people who go to the brothels and those other places,
strip clubs,
and those clubs, and then they're able to get a female partner, and they go and they have sexual intercourse, and it is just for the money, it's just for the pleasure, it's just for the few minutes. And after the lady is paid what she's being paid, she leaves, and the man leaves. But there is no connection that has come. The connection, the soul tie is there.
It is.
We will not deny.
It is.
Because the way God created sex, it was for the context of marriage through the soul tie.
Yes.
There's so many consequences to that. I'm not trying to downplay those consequences.
Okay.
But you see, for that person who went out there, got that lady, they had sexual intercourse, there was no intimacy that was involved.
Okay.
He will not get out of that room and start thinking of that lady.
No.
He will not spend the following day thinking all about that lady, because his interest was not in the person.
No.
His interest was in the act.
Yeah.
And so that is the difference. But you see now in intimacy, when you're having intimacy when you're having a relation with somebody who's emotional, there's emotional tie between you, there's a psychological, you think about them every day, you care about them.
Yeah.
That is your best friend, your partner is your best friend. You ever thinking about them. You take your phone and call them every other time just to know how they are, just to know whether they're fine.
But many would think that is bothering them, especially men. They don't like being called every now and then to be asked, hey, how are you? Are you okay? And all that. So are we, failing on, reciprocating intimacy, especially to our ladies?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
And one thing I would have the viewer understand is that God created man and woman in very different ways.
Yeah.
At times, I used to ask myself, when I started studying the area of marriage, I used to ask myself, why would God create two very different people and then he wants them to live together?
One. And become one.
But I realized that over time, even through marriage, like I said, we are teenagers in marriage. So through marriage and through research and through reading marriage books, through reading marriage materials, I've realized that those differences actually come to favor us. Now, this is the way God has created man.
Okay.
A man will be intimate after sex because it's like sex. When he has sexual intercourse with his spouse, that is when now he can connect with intimacy in that area. Okay. That is when he will connect. But for a woman, the intimacy is in the heart. So first of all, you have to touch the heart.
The heart first, yeah.
When the heart is warmed up, that is when now she'll be able to connect to sex.
Can you help us? Yes. Help us to warm that heart.
Okay.
Because probably we need that help. Because the other thing that we don't have as men is patience.
Patience.
Now, how do I, stir this heart and, spur it to ipate moto, mpaka the intimacy level?
A man can walk into his home and take a shower, and the next thing, he can be on the bed, and he can call his partner and they can have sexual intercourse and he's okay.
And that's it, yeah. True.
But the way a woman is wired, if you take her through that process, you just call her, you drop her, and then you're done. What you'll be creating in that person is it's the opposite of what you'd have desired as a man.
Okay.
Because for a woman, you see, in her, it starts from the heart, meaning that the whole day, it's a whole day process from morning.
Yes.
You tell her, you tell her, you appreciate her, you appreciate the way she's dressed, you appreciate her beauty.
True.
Then over the day, you make a call or you do something that will make her keep thinking about it. You see? Yeah. It's like you're preparing her psychologically, slowly by slowly. So that now by evening, she's first of all psychologically prepared to have you, actually, to actually even meet you. She's psychologically prepared mentally, even for the intercourse.
True.
And then now from there, when now you get into the onset of the phase of intercourse, for her, she has to be prepared.
Yes.
There is a whole process of, first of all, creating the right atmosphere. What are we talking about?
Let's get into that, yeah.
First of all, let us start by the five senses. There is the sense of seeing, the sense of smelling, the sense of sight. So if we start by the sense of sight, I'm not saying jengo ni mbaya. Get me right. Because it is what adds the money for the family. Yeah. It is the way that the man earns the bread for the family. So I'm not saying that it is bad.
Yeah.
But when you come from such a place, you need to come, shower up, and then as you present yourself now to her for the intercourse, at least you're clean. You're not having the, what do you call it?
The simiti.
The cement.
The cement.
The cement is all over your face, your head, and everywhere. It's all over your clothes. So first of all, you clean yourself up. And then now from there, you are now the person she's used to. She's used to having.
I want to ask a question on that point.
Yes.
And they always say, I don't know, is it a myth or something? But they say when it's abrupt, when it's like that, it's sweeter than when it's prepared.
Yeah, but you see, it's not abrupt like umetoka mjei, you're just looking like something else. So that is first of all the scene. That is an example of the simiti part is just an example. There are so many examples. Let's go to the sense of smell. For the sense of smell, okay, first of all, if we can finish with the sense of sight. We have said that presentability is key.
True.
Yes, then now we go to the sense of smell. We give an example. For the sense of smell, maybe what she would love for the environment, for the intimate environment to have is the smell of sweet candles, the candles that have some sense of nice smell, or just some strawberry or something, or chocolate or something, or flowers. But now, you as the man, you have come from that place we were calling the workplace, and you're sweating all over. And there's a smell of sweat all over you, and you don't see the need to prepare and clean up. So what I'm trying to say is that through the five senses, the sense of hearing, you've just come. Kuja hapa wewe, there are no words to prepare your spouse. Because a man may think that a woman is created the way he is. So he may try to do what he himself, what works for him. But you see, what works for the man is not what works for the lady.
Okay.
So, like our guest last time told us that a lady is like a jiko, the chako jiko.
True.
So in that case, it means that you have to prepare her psychologically. You have to prepare I have given you a very good tip of the five senses.
Yes.
So through the five senses, what is it that she doesn't like and you're doing through the five? Is it that you just tell her, come over here? That is the sense of hearing. Is it that you're not presentable? Is it that is the sense of smell? Maybe you're just coming and with all the sweat and everything. So look out for the five senses, and you can even sit down with your spouse. She'll be able to tell you, when you do this, I don't like it. You see, if it is the sense of taste, we can go to that.
True.
There's I understand that we all got into marriage before we went for the college of marriage.
Yes.
And because there is no college of marriage except just the premarital counseling, that may not be sufficient to prepare you 100%. There are some people who learn to kiss in marriage. But now their formula, their method of kissing is not something that the spouse likes. You see? So again, that comes now through the sense of taste. So instead of kissing, it's the saliva that is being transferred from. You understand? So out of the five senses, that is the first tip on how to prepare your partner.
And these five senses are also
they're the do's and the don'ts.
Also on the side of the lady, because I heard you mentioning only the man coming home with sweat and everything. What if it's also the other side?
Even on the flip side. And that's why I was saying the viewer and the partner can sit down and actually list, because the man has his side, the do's and the don'ts of each of the sense of each of the five senses. And the lady also has her do's and don'ts. And so one thing about marriage, if you don't communicate what ails you or what bothers you, your partner is not an angel that they will get to know what ails you or what bothers you. So it is through communication that you build your marriage. You see, the problem with us is that we expect too much, but we contribute too little.
Yes.
If you want to build a house, you have to actively get the materials, get the proper workmanship that is skilled.
True.
And get everything that is required and start building the house. But now you see in marriage, people get married and they have too many expectations but they are not prepared to meet the expectations of the partner. So each partner is having an expectation towards the other partner, but none is willing to contribute to the growth of the marriage. So the same way, you have to sit down. That's like an assignment. Create a list. What do I like? What don't I like? Together. See, to prepare no. But when you do it together, you're able to discuss and agree on this area and that area. So that's the first tip, the 5 senses. Then the other issue is that, like we said, for the man, for him, the sexual intercourse opens the intimacy for him. But for the lady, it is actually the intimacy itself that opens up the sexual intercourse, the desire for it. So if it is for the lady, you need to tell your husband, this is how I would like for you to prepare me. You see? You know what ticks for you. Because it's not everything that ticks for everyone.
No.
There is what will make this lady, this wife lady ready. And it can be different, totally different from what he read in the books, your spouse read in the books. So it's good to tell them which area makes you tick. And you see, there are so many areas. I can give an example. Some ladies like being massaged. You just give a nice massage. Buy some massage oil. Do a nice massage. And she's ready. You see? For others, it works differently. You see? So you need to communicate what you know, or over there, because you may not know because you just got married. You can what is it called? You can try out different things until you get to know what ticks for you.
That's true.
The minute you get to know what ticks for you, communicate. You are a husband and wife. Whatever you're doing is actually ordered of God. So guilt should not be part of it. You see? So there should be the room to communicate. I hear some people saying that my husband does not want to talk to me whenever we are having sexual intercourse in our marriage. But I wonder why. Because if you're able to ask for nipatie kikombe ya chai in the sitting room, in the dining room, why would you, ikifika ni area ya bedroom you want to shut, you do not want to communicate, how will your expectations be met if you do not want to communicate them to your partner? So that is how I can say, for the man, just know that don't be selfish. Don't come and urukie ni kama baiskeli, because like we were told by our guest last time, women are different. And because they are slower, the best tip I can give to married men is let her ride the vehicle. Let her ride the show. Let her ride the game. That way, you will not be fasten her beyond the speed at which she has reached. Hautamfikisha to the next stage na hakuwa amefika your stage. So when you allow her, you also help her, because both of you will get to climax at the same time. Sometimes even let her get to climax before you, because for a man it's not a struggle.
That's true.
Yes.
All right. Wow.
There's so many other things. There's so many other things that are coming along the way. The environment. The environment needs to be private. The environment needs to be in a place here to watoto wanaweza
all of a sudden
mlango waingie anytime. So as you prepare the environment, and the environment this time, I don't mean the flowers, the what, it is the surrounding, it is the emotional surrounding, the physical surrounding, the mental surrounding. You see, sex comes from the mind.
That's true.
So as you prepare her, she will mentally get prepared. There's so much to it. I am not able to get into all of it, but I can recommend even books that the viewer can read for even more information on that area.
That's true.
Yes.
Wow.
As we end the program.
Wow. This is getting to another level. And my viewer, we have been given an assignment. Come up with a list. Let's communicate. Let's have our do's and don'ts so that we can make this thing work. And even to us who are born again, this thing is a gift from God. Marriage is also a gift from God. We need to enjoy it and enjoy it, fully. So let us talk about these things at our homes. Let us sit down somewhere and let's, go for a date out there. Talk about this thing, say this is the place I need you to improve, or this is the place I want you to keep doing what you're doing, because communication is also key when it comes to intimacy and sex. What are the other, things that we need to look at and even engage in on the area of atmosphere, so that we can make, intimacy and sex, favorable to all of us?
Okay. I should have started by saying that we are looking at the cycle of lovemaking.
All right.
And it has 4 areas. So the cycle of lovemaking, the first area of the cycle of lovemaking is the atmosphere.
Okay.
The second area is the arousal. The third area is the apex.
Okay.
And then the fourth area is the afterglow.
Okay.
So probably for the interest of time today, we'll be able to only tackle the atmosphere.
Okay.
Then in the concurrent episodes that will come, we will be able to tackle the second area of arousal, the third area of apex, and then lastly, the fourth area of afterglow.
That's true.
And then now from afterglow, like I said, it's a cycle. So from afterglow, the next experience of atmosphere again.
Okay.
Because it's not something you do once and then in the entire marriage you're done. It is a continuous. It is a continuous thing that
you become creative as you go on.
You actually become creative as you go.
Yes.
And now let me just first read something from the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 12. It says, "A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed." So that scripture is telling us that when you are marrying your spouse, what you got was a package that was enclosed. What you got was a fountain that was sealed. And so God had sealed it for you, so that now in the context of marriage, you enjoy the garden. You enjoy the fountain. You understand?
Yeah.
And so I feel it for the couple who restrain themselves from what God has freely given them, gracefully given them. And so that is why we are here today, so that we are able to get to enlighten you, so that your marriage gets enriched. You see? And so that you're able to meet and fulfill the expectations of your partner. And the minute you meet and fulfill the expectations of your partner, then your marriage thrives.
Yes.
So now we are still on the area of atmosphere.
Yes.
We have tackled the 5 senses, the do's and don'ts for each partner of the 5 senses.
Yes.
Then the other issue we have also tackled on privacy.
Yes.
That there needs to be privacy. You see, when kids are making noise and they can get in anytime, I can assure you, as the husband, that your wife will not concentrate.
That's true.
You will try your best, but you will not get her to even get to the area of being prepared for you. Because her mind, remember we said sex is in the mind.
Yes.
Anything that will distract your wife, be it children that can walk into the room anytime because the room is not locked. Be it visitors that are in the sitting room and the sitting room and is next to the bedroom and your wife is imagining, again you want to scare.
Yes.
Be it a bed that is squeaking. It's called squeaking.
Yes, creaking.
Creaking bed. So now, when there's a creaking bed, again, her concentration goes to the bed and she starts thinking that the neighbors are hearing what you're doing. So anything that will distract your wife will make your whole process not to actually flop, because her mind will move from the focus of what you're about to engage in to whatever else, to start to imagine whether the visitors are listening, to imagine whether the bed is sounding so much that the neighbor is hearing, to imagine that if the children walking, what are we going to do? So prepare the environment and prepare it well.
Yes, it is
Make
important.
sure that the area is private enough. You have, for those who have children, you have to make extra effort to make sure that when you want to engage, then you've already taken care of the issue of the children. Either they are fast asleep or whatever else, or they are the neighbors. kwa shosho yao ni mbali. You cannot take them kwa shosho yao every day.
Yeah, true.
So you can take them to the neighbors and you know, whatever it is that you just
find
get
that
creative.
time that is, true.
But make sure that your wife is not getting distracted.
Yeah.
That is another
But
tip.
I'm thinking, you know, I don't know why you're only talking about ladies only. I'm thinking the same thing.
Happens to men.
Yeah, we don't like being disturbed or distracted.
Yes.
Like we are saying, it is in the mind.
For a man, it's different. It is almost similar, but it is different.
Okay.
I once heard of a story of a lady and a man, the husband and wife. So the wife was not really interested. She was just in it for the husband. Maliza kenye unafanya tulale. And then the wife started talking about bogashi ya Mwea, you know, cabbages from Mwea.
From where?
I have no clue what the cabbages had done because the man did not even allow her to finish her sentence. He just told her he does not want to hear about Mwea cabbages and he will no longer eat Mwea cabbages because the conversation that she engaged in made the man to flop.
True.
Where he had gotten, you know, the whole journey of the preparation, and now he's just almost there. And then the wife brings in a topic that is off the subject. So even the wife should know that you don't start talking about Mwea cabbages when you are actively engaging in the area of intimacy, in the area of intercourse. If you want to talk about something that is related to what you're doing.
Yes.
If you want to talk about something that will actually praise your husband. Because the minute you praise him, the minute you encourage him, the minute you praise him, just tell him that you're enjoying it. So that he's able to actually stick in the area. But now, ukianza kuongea story ya Mwea cabbages, you'll actually be throwing him off.
Ama salmon ya hiyo siku.
Any other topic that is off the discussion, that is off the whatever you're actually engaging in, will put him off.
That's true.
Because that is whatever he's doing is biological, it is psychological. It also comes from his mind. You know, his mind is also getting prepared for this. So when you distract the mind to start thinking about something else, then you're getting him off. You see? So that is another area. Another one is quality time. Quality time where, you know, there's out of the bustles of these days and the daily activities, sometimes it is very hard to actually realize that months and months have gone before you've had quality time with your partner. So it is good to deliberately create quality time. You can even say once a week we'll be taking coffee. You know, you go for a coffee date, you discuss your marriage. Once a month, you can even go out and just have a hotel room or anywhere else that you know that you are far away from everyone. You just the two of you. You're able to focus on the two of you.
That's true.
See? And then another thing is the maturity as a couple. Are you mature enough even for what you are getting into? When you're getting into marriage, did you marry a mature person? Because if you married somebody who was not fully mature, then they'll be running away from you. That is the honest truth. They'll be running away from you every time that you're about to engage into any discussion that will pull him or her towards intercourse. They will create any manner and any form of excuse because they were never ready for what you are about to do. Then another area, we are still on the area of atmosphere.
But before we get to another area of the atmosphere, I want to take you back to that area of time. Because like you're saying, it's getting busier by the day. She's out there in her workplace, I'm in my workplace, and even getting time to text is becoming a problem, or even to call. And here we get in the evening, and we have kids. Now it's time to go and get ready, make ready, prepare the children, prepare supper, do things, all these things. And like you're saying, a whole week is gone.
Yes.
Now it's even a month.
Yes, and months.
And months.
And counting years.
So what I want you to clarify here is, time is not enough. I would in quotes, I would say, it is for us to create that time and to create that quality time.
Yes.
Things, we will not, we will always be busy every day. So for us
to get the analogy of an engine. You see? If you have a vehicle and you just run your engine every day, you just wake up, you start the engine, you go. Every day you start the engine, you go. You don't ever service the engine. The engine, with time, you will realize that as you try to accelerate, especially on a hill, you'll realize that with time, that especially if the service, the miles, the mileage is actually past the mileage that is recommended by the manufacturer for the servicing of the engine. If you continue to use that vehicle and you're not taking it for service, you'll realize that the engine starts weakening. You realize it's not as, when you're doing an uphill, it is not speedy.
No.
You have to, you have to like force it. But the minute that vehicle is taken for service, it is like the engine is rejuvenated. So the same thing with your marriage. You see, I will say this, and it is good for us to remember that anything you value, you create time for it.
That's true.
Anything you value, you create time for it.
Yeah.
So if you value your spouse, if you value your marriage, if you want to, you desire to see your marriage thriving, if you want to desire seeing the satisfaction in your marriage, you create time for it. And there are so many ways of creating time. You can even hire a day. You can take your children for daycare, or to their neighbor, or to your best friend.
Yes.
Even for a day. Even if it's for a weekend, one Saturday, you take them to your best friend. Because I believe you have friends. You don't live like an island.
No.
You take them to your best friend just for a day. And you just want to create that day to take your wife out.
Yes.
You go there, you take her wherever you've planned to go. And then you come back in the evening and you take your kids.
True.
That whole day that you've taken, in that whole month, just that one day will rejuvenate your marriage.
That's true.
You see, you cannot keep running your marriage the same way somebody will run an engine until the engine knocks.
Yeah. True.
So, if you want to see your marriage thrive, if you don't want to see your marriage taking a nosedive, then create time for your marriage. So that is one. And the energy is something that can also connect with marriage. Energy, because sometimes people go to work and they come back very tired, extremely tired. Even your own wife will come back extremely tired.
Yes.
And now here you are, and you're waiting for her. And she's wondering, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
The best thing is to be innovative on how you can be creative, be innovative on how you can take some time to rest. Even if it is a shower that relaxes you. When you're tired, you come and you take a shower and it relaxes you. Go take the shower and get yourself to relax. If it is a 10 minutes nap, 30 minutes nap, nap is sleep. 30 minutes sleep. That makes your body to rejuvenate. And you're no longer as drained as you were. Then take that nap and then you'll be ready for him. You'll be ready for her. Whatever formula it is that you can take time to re-energize, and so that when you're ready for her, you're not complaining, oh, what time will you finish? I'm tired. Don't you know I came from work? Those kind of excuses that we talked about. The topics that will actually get your partner off. So let us aim at creating that time to rejuvenate, that time to re-energize. If it is the shower, if it is the nap, whatever it is, take that time. Then another thing, still in the area of atmosphere, is anticipation. Anticipation mostly is for the ladies. Like we said, for a man, he can walk in and he's ready for you. You see? But for a woman, we said that you prepare her during the day. I'm not telling you to take the phone and tell her, get prepared. No, you see.
There's somebody who said it's like doing an application. So you start applying early. You don't apply on the day of the interview.
Exactly. You start applying early, and then you keep making a follow-up. You see? So it's the same. If you use the analogy of application, it is the same. Prepare her psychologically. Prepare her so that she's able to anticipate for what you're going to have.
What's going to happen?
I know of marriages where every day of their lives, they live on quickies. Every day they live on quickies. And let me tell you the truth. This is what quickies do to a marriage. The man will be fully satisfied. Because for a man, a quickie is enough.
It is.
But the man will be selfish enough to think that the wife is actually enjoying the whole process. Because quickies never work. You cannot say, you'll put a charcoal jiko here, and then you put a matchstick, and the next thing you expect to put your sufuria there and it cooks. It is not the same. So quickies can be there, but if you want to kill your marriage faster, if you want your marriage to deteriorate faster, if you actually want your wife to resent sexual intercourse, survive on quickies every day. Survive on quickies every day.
But we are not saying that they are bad. But
I did not say they are bad.
Yeah, it's good to clarify that.
There are some men who actually drive their marriages on quickies.
That's the order of the day.
That is the order of the day. Anytime kuja hapa, within 2 minutes,
that's it.
He's done and he's asleep. And he's actually snoring. So the anticipation is part of the process of preparing the female spouse.
True.
The whole journey, the day's journey towards preparing her, so that she actually anticipates for you. She actually is psychologically prepared. She's looking forward. You see, she's looking forward to you coming home. That is the only time you'll go home and you'll get a hug when you're at the door. But that is not how many people work. So I believe the viewer is now getting to notice where maybe their shortfall is in their marriage. Then another thing is initiation. And this one is to the ladies now. Because in the African context, we were brought up, being in Kikuyu, we call it Mutumia Agatha. And then this Mutumia Agatha is a faithful wife. For those who don't understand the French, the Hebrew language. So this Mutumia Agatha was taught that, you have to be a reserved person. You have to be a composed person. You can never show your husband like you want, you have a sexual desire for him. That is what they do in the brothels. That is what they do out there. But nothing is further from the truth. When God created sexual intercourse, He never created it for the brothels. He created it for the marriage context. And there is nothing that actually raises the ego of a man, and the self-esteem of a man, than when a woman is also initiating the process. And actually on the process of initiating, he can actually see that she's enjoying. When she is able to initiate and she's enjoying the whole process of sexual intercourse, it actually raises the self-esteem of the man. Because he's able to know that I'm satisfying my wife. You see, there's no man in this world who they actually fear. Let me put it this way. Every man in this world fears when they don't satisfy their wives.
That's true.
Because they are opening the door for the devil. You see?
Kabisa.
They're opening the door for the devil. So every man will actually be very excited. You'll be raising their ego. They'll have self-esteem when you actually take the initiative. I'm not saying that every time it is the woman initiating.
No.
But I'm saying at times initiate. You see? And through initiating, it is also an advantage to the woman when she initiates. Because like we said, she's a slower. You see? She comes slowly.
Gradually,
She comes gradually. So when she initiates, she's able to drive the vehicle with her speed. At her pace. And that way, she'll also get to a climax. And now the husband will also now be left, she'll be ready for him now to get to his climax. And out of that intercourse, both of them will come out satisfied.
There's a problem. There's a problem and a notion, I would say. People out there and people in marriage they are saying that, when she initiates the process, the other question the man asks is, ulijulia wapi? Ulijulia wapi hii mambo? Okay? Especially for they that gotten married recently.
Yes.
They would ask that question. Wewe unaanza hii mambo, where did you learn all these things from?
Okay.
And now the trust issues come.
Issues come in. You see, first thing, we said that there is no college that you go to before you get married. You get married, and then now you start learning these things together. And so it should actually be your goal as a partner to try different things, to become creative.
Yes.
Read books.
Yes,
I have seen books. I read a book by Doug Heward Mills, a very renowned international speaker. And that book is called Model Marriages. Get the book.
Yes.
When you get that book, you will see for yourself that man of God has actually, it's almost half of the book. He has taken like 1/3 of the book, more than 1/3 of the book, to speak on the area of sex, to speak on the area of sex in marriage. The different types, the different styles. He has actually outlined the styles there. You see?
Yeah.
So, you see, when you start accusing your spouse, where they learned this from, when the men of God are actually writing big volume books, and putting those details there, then you're the one who is failing.
That's true.
Because actually, you should be the active ones to actually get such a book. On the book, there are soft copies of the book. There's an ebook of Model Marriage by Doug Heward Mills. There's an ebook. There's a physical book. Whatever you'll get, whether it's the physical book or the ebook, read together. Get marriage materials that will build your marriage and read together. Because if you don't read together, unangoja aende asome peke yake, and then when he or she comes, you start asking them, where did you get to know these things? So I can also encourage the other partner who loves to read. When you get such a good material, take time with your husband. That outing you went, go read the book. Get to learn the different things, you see, the different areas. So that you build your marriage, the intimate relationship of your marriage. And you build the bond of intimacy in your marriage.
That's true.
Otherwise, the areas of getting suspicious, they can only come in if one of you is actually unfaithful, is actually getting outside wedlock. That is the only time you can create the arena for your spouse to be suspicious. But if you are walking in marriage as God designed it to be, then there can be no room for suspicion.
True.
And maybe another area that I can also talk about, still in the context of atmosphere, is mutual consent.
Good.
Mutual consent. That the Bible says very well that your body does not belong to you as the husband, it belongs to the wife. And the wife's body does not belong to her, it belongs to you. And that is a very good scripture. To base the marriage. First of all, it helps the couple to understand that you cannot be selfish in the area of sexual intercourse.
That's true.
But unfortunately, there are some of the spouses who use it as a weapon. So they force their way whenever they want sexual intercourse because they do not want to go through the whole process of preparing the spouse. Because, especially if it is the man, he can get in and get out, the quickies we were talking about. But if it is the lady, she needs preparation. You see? So their preparations, we'll see them during the next episode of Arousal. That's when we see the preparations. So the man wants a quickie. And so because the wife is not ready for the quickie, he forces his way into her. I once heard of a marriage counselor who was calling that act. He was actually calling it marital rape. Because if you define rape, it is where the whole sexual process is forced on somebody who was not ready. So this preacher was actually saying that in a context where one of the spouses has forced the other into it, they are actually raping them. And he was actually explaining how rape can exist in the context of marriage. It can be a debatable point. Even the viewer, I'm sure, right now, he or she is shocked. How? But you already said that the Bible says, my body is mine and your body, my body is yours and your body is mine as a partner. But you see, when it comes to context of the Christian marriage, at the end of it, because your wife is not ceasing to become your wife tomorrow.
No.
You need to keep that marriage. You need to build your marriage. There is the need and the importance of the consent.
Yes.
You see?
Yes, yes.
There are so many things that can prevent the consent to be yes. There are so many things. But if there are genuine reasons, it is good to reason with her and be patient with her.
Yes.
It is good to reason with him and be patient with him. A good example.
Yeah,
a wife who has a wife who has just come from delivering a baby.
Yes.
Even the doctor himself, if it is a normal delivery, the doctor himself has stated that you give her 6 weeks. If it is a CS, then actually the period is longer.
Yeah, true.
If the wife is not feeling well, and it is genuinely not feeling well, you see, there are some reasons that you can surely see that this is a genuine reason, and you be patient with her.
That's true.
You see? Then now, as we look at the areas or the pointers that can bring suffering to marriage, as I conclude on the area of atmosphere. The first thing is not making your marriage sacred. That goes for those people who actually cheat in marriage. If you're a person who every time you're looking at every skirt that is passing,
that passes by.
They're called skirts, eh?
Yes, every skirt,
that is passing. And you are with your spouse there. And in the evening, you want her to be psychologically prepared to have you. Yet she saw you categorically looking at every lady who is passing. How would you explain that she'll be ready for you? Because psychologically, you have wounded her. Emotionally, you have wounded her. She may not mention it. Then
do ladies look at men when they pass by also?
I can say that the way God made man, man is more impressed by what he sees than what he hears.
That's true.
But for a lady, it takes a different approach. It takes the approach of hearing. It takes the approach of emotional connection.
Touch.
And that is why men are actually advised that if you don't create time for just that normal talk, the normal talk, you know, let your wife tell you how the whole workplace, the whole day has been. If you don't create time for her, and you know women have how many words?
3,000 or so.
Exactly. So if you don't have time for the 3,000 words, and at the workplace, there is another person who is there, they're calm, they're collected, then they are ready for the 3,000 words.
True.
Then she'll start connecting emotionally to this person more than to the spouse. And you see, that is it is actually the making of the spouse because he did not create time for her.
That's true.
So there are some of those things. Another one is tolerating contempt. There are some circumstances that can force you to tolerate. I told somebody somewhere that sometimes even in marriage there is waiting. You see, the context of the youth, they think that the day I get married, that will be the end of waiting. You see? But now, you see, if your wife is we have given the analogy of giving birth, the example of giving birth, the doctor himself advises you. There is also the area of pregnancy, when the pregnancy is at risk. Right from the first trimester, the doctor can say, hold your horses. And you see, for those number of months that you're holding your horses, and you can imagine even after delivery, you will hold your horses further, then you have to tolerate. You see? Then we can also say about poor marital skills. Poor marital skills. There are some people who get married and then they ask you, what is a seminar going to teach me about marriage? Nini ni wanaenda kunifunza about marriage? What are marriage books going to teach me about marriage? See, marriage is the way I saw my father and mother. You see? And you see, they get ignorant. They do not want to learn anything that will build their marriage. So their marriage is just there. Because they have refused to learn. They have refused to go to seminars. They have refused to go to mentors. They have refused to seek any material that can enrich their knowledge of how they can make their experience in marriage better.
Yeah, true.
And then there's also
as we finish because of time.
Yes, as we finish. There's also believing that your spouse should be like you. Like we have said, God created man very differently from the woman. And so if what makes you happy or what makes you tick is what you think will make your partner tick, then that is where your marriage is not as intimate as it should be. Another one is unhealthy beliefs about sex. I always say this. We know of many styles, we know of many, like I've said, there's even a book that outlines the styles. But before you go to that point, get your partner on board. Sit down and discuss. What are you comfortable with?
Yes.
What are you not comfortable with? There's one area that is still a gray area, even in the Christian context or the contemporary context, the area of oral sex. Some of the people, even Christians, believe that oral sex is okay, but there are others who believe that it is not okay. Like for me, I don't advocate for it. I'm one person who will always say that the mouth was made for eating and praying and talking, and then the sexual organs were made for each other.
True.
You see? So if your wife does not believe in that, but you yourself, you're okay with it, and then you force it on her or you force it on your husband, then definitely there's going to be an issue.
That's
Another area, as I finish, is not working on your marriage or not working on your sex life, but you expect it to be great. So you don't want to put the work to it, but you expect it to be great. So how is it going to be great? Yet you are not putting any effort to make it great.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. We can go and go and go on and go on. I know you.
Believe me.
I know you can go and go.
Believe me, I've restrained myself because time is
I know.
out of...
And I promise our viewers this way, that we will come back to the pointers so that we can expound. Because I'm thinking these pointers, we really need to tackle them and get into the details of them and help marriages or couples to be able to check them out. So we will do that. But for now, I really want us to end it at that point, because we are even already past the time that we have been given. And, this is an amazing topic, and this is a topic that really needs to be heard by every spouse or every couple out there. I'm going to leave at that point because of time. We are going to continue in the next episode. I want to remind you, my name is Ken Campbell, and this is the quote of the day.